Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome, my gorgeous Sagittarians. This is your December 2025 reading. You are the first reading for December, and I am excited to get into it. We're ending this universal year 9 this month. So I want to see, and I just did a podcast, by the way. Actually, it was a video, a movie, kind of like a movie, I guess, where I broke down everyone's personal year number. So, personal year one, what 2026 is going to offer, personal year two, and so on and so forth. Um, and I have a timestamp. So, and I even have how you can calculate your number if you don't know it. So I would advise you to watch that because it gives you, it's short, but it gives you some really good information. And we looked at love, money, and your spiritual message for the year. So I am looking in this reading to really look at your love life, to look at your money, to go deep. I was going to do a different spread, and I thought, no, not for December. Like, I got to give it all I have. So that's what we're going to do. We will open the reading with Mother Mary. We'll clarify with the Gilded Tarot, clarify and go deeper. And deep we go. The Crystal Vision will be the main spread, and we will use the major arcanas also, especially in this reading. All right, I'm going to go ahead and bring the lid down. There we go. Let's put crystals over there for right now. And let's start with Mother Mary. By the way, I have clarifying love situations ready to go and the romance angels ready to go. Because I feel like love is definitely going to come up. So let's start with Mother Mary, though. Let's see what Mother Mary wants to tell you for the month of December. By the way, happy birthday. For those who are celebrating a birthday, and I should have said this is for Sagittarius sun, of course, moon, rising. You could have combination. Many of you are intuitively guided to these readings now, and I feel like if there's anything we've learned in this universal year 9, it's to trust our intuition. And a lot of you are learning that just because it says a sign and you don't think you have that sign, but you feel so pulled to it, trust that. Your spirit guides will use whatever means possible. And why would they not use me? I am an open vessel for them, of the light, of course, and only of the light. So, what was I going to say? Oh, and definitely feel free to ask your guides for your own signs of confirmation. People get them all the time, I'm telling you. So, just going to calm down my own mind, relax, and let this reading flow to us. We're just going to let it open up. Wow. Sagittarius. Mother Mary has a lot to say. Normally I wouldn't take this many, but they're all face up. And it's very seldom I turn Mother Mary's cards down. So we're going to go through them, but we'll go through them rather quickly. So number 1, mercy. I am kind and thoughtful towards myself and others. Compassion. I see and feel others' points of view with forgiveness and kindness. And I have to tell you, that was a big part of many or personal year numbers, forgiveness. And the reason being is so that you can be lighter. It's not even about calling someone and saying, hey, I forgive you. Just forgiving within your own heart. And sometimes we have to learn to forgive ourselves for what we think we've done wrong, and what I'm hearing is you only had the information you had at that time. So don't punish yourself, right? When you know better, you do better. Love. No wonder I made sure the love cards were ready. Love is the answer to all of my questions. Love, love, love. Inner child. I nurture the child within me through playfulness and self care. And last but not least, boundaries. I am clear and honest with others about my expectations. So this isn't the Eight of Swords where we're putting up walls. This is just boundaries, like the Empress, let's say. She has boundaries, and they're really energetic boundaries. She trusts her intuition so much so that she knows that if anything of a lower vibration tries to, let's say, cross her boundary, the alarm bells will go off. She will know. She or he. And by the way, I feel like many of you are the Empress. Again, male or female, it doesn't matter. So, mercy, compassion, love, inner child, and boundaries. Some of you, I feel like this year could have been about really healing the inner child also, and then allowing that inner child to come out and play. You know what I mean? Like moving more into a playful state. Um, but I do feel like there were things that happened that you took like within that inner child energy. But you can free that. I feel it. You can free that. And then maybe that's when you start having some boundaries. Again, I am clear and honest with others about my expectations. Doesn't have to be mean, doesn't have to be loud. Just I know what I want and I know what I don't want. And it's really that simple. you know? All right. So normally I'd leave Mother Mary out. I will turn her in this direction in case we want to look back, but too many cards to leave on the table. All right, let's bring in the major arcanas. Um, Everything is always pre-shuffled, just so you know that. But I do like to give it a shuffle with you here also. So sometimes these messages can get rather deep, but usually in a good way. All right. Hello, Star. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. What a beautiful image or message as your first one. What do you want to manifest? What I want you to keep in mind is this is the final month of the clearing of those last 9 years and the opening up of a brand new year one. So, using the energy of the star, like planting those seeds, but then watching them come true, watching them blossom. I feel like it's going to happen for you. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. And then you take the energy. Okay, that's too many. You take the energy of what will be the one, the magician. I feel like, I just feel like there's unlimited possibilities here. I really do. All right, we have the High Priestess. This is your intuition. So that tells me that you're being guided, that signs are being sent your way. It's interesting when I see this image, I often feel like this is fairy dust around her. You can look at the High Priestess as your higher self. Your higher self would say, hey, we've been here before. We've done this before. Like, we can't let anything that we've already done get in our way to what we want to accomplish, what it is that we want to create, how we want our life to look. So the high priestess, again, your intuition, or like I like to call her, your GPS to use in this lifetime. I think the biggest thing we learn with our intuition is not to second guess it. For some reason in my mind, all of a sudden I saw people playing Jeopardy and someone clicks that button, gives an answer, and they know the answer, but they don't trust it. So they give a different answer. Wrong. Dang, but they had the answer. Justice. So this is the final month to really consider the sword of justice. I feel like not only do I feel like our intuition is a gift that we've been given to use in this earthly life, I also feel the sword is a gift. Doesn't mean it's easy, but it definitely means that you have the power to cut ties to anything or anyone that just is really leaving you in an unbalanced state. When I think of justice, or when justice shows up, I think of a couple different things. Number one, I feel like there may be something that feels unbalanced, that may be unbalanced, but that sword can give you that balance. And when justice shows up, justice is about making you whole again, but it does require you to use that sword. And it makes sense, being in this final ninth year, the year of the hermit, that whatever we don't want to take along for the ride because what you want to think about is in the star, you're planting those seeds of your dreams and your wishes, and some of them have already been planted, and it feels like they're coming to fruition. Wow, there may be someone or something that I just don't want their hands on my blessings. You know what I mean? Um, Also card Libra, by the way. I don't know why I'm laughing. The star is a card of Aquarius. Okay, we're going to set these up here and let's go deeper. All right, let's bring in the crystal vision. I have to say, I don't use the crystal vision that often for the main spread, but I was definitely called to it. So, and I love the crystal vision. So we'll see why this deck was calling your name. All right. I may do two readings depending on the time I have for each sign. I may do one, like I call this freestyle, but this is just, to me, it's giving our guides the table, the room, and I'm just the messenger. And the other one I may do will be an actual spread, the Celtic Cross. So I definitely feel like I'm going to do it for you. I can't promise every sign that. Um, and I was going to do the Celtic Cross for you, but then I was like, no, we need a full, detailed, every card type of reading. Okay, wow. Three of Swords. So, heartache and loss. Someone may have broken your heart. You could have lost someone, whether to this life or just, you know, some type of connection. Now, I feel like that sword, we kind of know why it's here now. So, something or someone has broken your heart. It's interesting. I'm noticing her angel wings, and I feel like you're an earth angel. And well, I guess what I'm really feeling is the ability to overcome this. So I have a feeling the day will come when that Three of Swords just is not going to hold the weight that it feels like. In a way, I kind of feel like it's not even holding the weight now. So some of you may have already gone through this, and maybe you've started to clear that energy. We have, well, the Two of Wands. So there we go, stepping upon a new path. So in between the Three Swords and the Two of Wands, I feel like that sword is used. Two of Wands, I mean, connected to the star, it's passion, it's desire, um, it's your dreams that lie upon that path. I feel like when we see the two, all it merely asks is that we step upon the path. It's not about having to control the outcome. It's more about going with the flow. I definitely feel some of you who have had your heart broken for whatever reason this year, I feel like you are getting over it. Um, and sometimes, listen, eh, I may not have had a choice, but because of the path you're stepping on, I just have a feeling if this is a person and it was, let's say, a relationship or was supposed to be a relationship, I have a feeling you won't look back. I just have this feeling you won't look back. You might look back for a moment to thank them. Like, thank you for making me use that sword. Because what you actually did was lighten my load, give me new opportunity. You let me know what I don't want. And now that I know that, I know what I do want now. Then we have the Seven of Pentacles. It's like your tree of life. So I feel like because we have the star here also, some of these seeds were probably, or some of these wishes, probably pre planted. Could have been planted before we even came into this lifetime. Um, but it could have been planted anytime in your life. But it means that this is the time of harvest. Seven of Pentacles, its first message is patience, but it makes sense with the reading opening up with the Three of Swords. Like one thing, it's like something doesn't fit. Like that Three of Swords doesn't fit where you're going. The Seven of Pentacles reads like destiny to me. And I just kind of love that it's falling under the High Priestess, your intuition. This person is sitting with this bounty on her lap. It reminds me of the Empress again. So let me just say that I feel like this is a very good sign for your money, your career, your creativity, whatever you want to use it for. Some of you, you are literally having epiphanies, and then you're following those epiphanies, and the next thing you know, you have a business. But it's because you were interested in it. It's something that sparked your or piqued your interest. Hmm. Even the seven and the two is a nine, right? So what do we want to reflect on? That Three of Swords. But I feel like it's again about finding a way to let it go. And I know that's easier said than done. But All you have to do is look back at your own history. You've been in relationships, I know I have, where when they were coming to an end, I thought, that's it. Life sucks. You know what I mean? I'm never going to fall in love again. And then lo and behold, you meet someone and you fall in love again. Now, if we could take that same energy and think about it with a different perspective, back then, I didn't know what I know today. Today, I know it. So you'll probably make different choices. And your vibration is much higher. Therefore, what vibrates back to you must be of that same vibration. We have the Three of Wands, optimism. And then we have the Nine of Swords. It really did show up in reverse, but this is what I do in my readings. Like, I talk with my guides, and I literally say whether you're like, I don't know if I want to read reversals today, but I keep it in mind. So it did show in reverse. Nine of Swords is worry. Sleepless nights. But the meaning of the card is unnecessary worry. I get it. I don't want a repeat of the Three of Swords. But look at what's right before it, the Three of Wands. This is where you're getting optimistic about your future. You're not looking back. You're looking forward. This is when you're really going with the flow. You're saying to divine, I know my ships will come in. I know my blessings will find their way to me. And in the meantime, I'm just going to enjoy my life. I'm going to find gratitude, even if it's tiny things, right? The energy of gratitude, I feel like, opens up the pathway to many blessings. So this Nine of Swords is probably why it showed in reverse. And I hope that's the case. I think I'm going to keep it in reverse now. Because you can't have both. You know what I mean? Like, I can't be in the Three of Wands energy, but also be in the Nine of Swords energy. I'm in one or the other. Knowing that we have the Two of Wands, so you about to step on this new path, but without fear. That tells me that many of you have cleared this energy. Boy, I'm happy. That makes me happy. That means whatever is opening up, and how beautiful. And I know this is December, and I don't want to skip the month of December, but I want to remind you that, that sword is so your life can be the way you want it to be. This, your life was given to you, not to another. It's your life. Why am I going to let someone else control it? And that may happen until we learn. And I'm not saying all of you are allowing someone else to control your life. I don't feel that. But I do feel that definitely this Three of Swords held weight, at least for a little while. But I feel like the weight is now lifted. And it's that sword. But it's your intuition also. It's like your spirit guides want to get you ready for these wishes, for these dreams, and for some of these pre-planted seeds. All right, let's keep going. Hello, Tower. Hello, Tower, my old friend. It's good to be with you again. Ending. shake up. Some of you may not have expected the Three of Swords, or maybe you did, but, you know, it does mean an ending. Um, and, many times with the Tower, it can mean it's not something you, well, again, I want to say you expected, but something tells me, like, at least in your subconscious, you did expect it. All right, let's keep going. Well, hello, Nine of Cups. Beautiful. Inner harmony and fulfillment of wishes. And it's mirroring the wish card. Some of you may have become single. You freed yourself. You're no longer worrying about someone who broke your heart, someone who threw you a tower. For whatever reason, I feel love because the Three of Swords, like it's piercing the heart, but it can be disappointment also. But when I said that you won't be looking back, now I know why I said that. This is loving your life. Doesn't mean everything is perfect, but you feel good. You have inner harmony. So important. And connected to the Two of Wands, like that's a path I want to walk down. Definitely. Oh my God. Hello, Ten of Cups. Well, that didn't take long. Goodbye, darkness, my old friend. There's someone new who's coming in. Ten of Cups. House of love, house of harmony, laughter. It's interesting. That's probably why Mother Mary was talking about your inner child, allowing it to come out, allowing it to play and have fun. I feel like some of you are starting on a new romance. I have a feeling it's going to be excited. But here's the thing. It's coming under the Seven of Pentacles. So to me, the Seven of Pentacles again reads like your will, your destiny. Patience was its first message. But that makes sense, right? Because the Three of Swords and the Tower. And I feel like you really did have to find a way to let go of this Nine of Swords. But I know that you did, or you will. One or the other, because something is changing your whole perspective. Remember how I said when you, like in the Three of Wands, you're putting that energy out of gratitude and, being in the present moment, meaning that the past is cleared. Well, that is the sign to the universe that you are ready for something else, something new, something quite lovely. It reminds me of like, and I know many of you have heard me say this before, but like, when I was married, when I was 19, I mean, hello. And I know for some people you can get married early and it works, but not for me. I was just I was too young. I really wasn't ready. But as soon as I got married, like 6 months into our marriage, he started cheating. He was probably cheating all along. But I probably had blindfolds on. Well, within 6 months, that blindfold came off and the truth was revealed. Now, let's say, and this has happened, let's say that he tried to come back now and wanted to have a relationship with me now. Now I am in another relationship, but let's say I wasn't. And I know what I know now. Would I take him back? Not a chance in hell. Not a chance in hell. And it's not that I hate him. He is my children's father. I don't hate him. Karma has taken care of him. You know what I mean? And that's just what you do. You let the universe take care of it. And you just get moving on with your life. So that was the point I was trying to make. You know, what I did back then, because I didn't know any better, and what I would do now, night and day. Come on. Two of Cups, Sagittarius. This is soulmates. I feel so excited for you. Look at the progression here. The Nine of Cups. Well, that's because of the Tower. You know, it's kind of like you were set free here, maybe even against your will. But I am telling you, they did you a favor. Wow. How beautiful. You have the soulmates next to the Ten of Cups. We have the Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands is coming into the reading. And this night, probably why you're stepping on the path of the Two of Wands, which, by the way, you should really feel comfortable on that path. You know, it is a path of fire. Um, but anyways, a knight, you know, you hear me say often, when I see a knight, I feel like they're going to complete their mission come hell or high water. Doesn't mean that you accept it, but it means it's coming in no matter what. So it has to be a soulmate. I don't know who else. It has to be a soulmate. And this person is carrying a lot of fire in their heart, in their soul. This definitely feels much more like-minded. Like this is your person. This is your person. This person, you know, well, I'm going to say it. This person, I feel like the potential of reaching the Ten of Cups, I feel like are like 99.9%. And the reason why I can't say 100 is because of free will. You may say no. Well, then that changes everything. You may say yes, and that changes everything. So, this tower, you know, it's like, it's what was. You know, I don't know. Part of me is like, I don't even want to focus on it because I'm seeing your growth after the fact. Listen, someone, so if someone gave you the tower, boy, I'd feel like a day will come where they will regret that. But too bad. Too bad. And the reason I'm saying too bad is because this feels like, especially with the Seven of Pentacles, this is the direction you're meant to move now. The Three of Swords versus the Three of Wands. Heartache, sadness, even the Nine of Swords, worry. I get it. You might worry that, again, I don't want my heart broken. But the Three of Wands is the opposite. You know, I'm not going to worry that a future lover might break my heart, because that's me living in the future when I'm really meant to live in the present. This is where my signs come, my guidance in the present moment. And it's guiding you to a soulmate. So that must be, for some of you, that must be one of your wishes. All right. And I'm really noticing like the bounty um on her lap in the Seven of Pentacles, your tree of life. Look at this. Well, hello, lovers. I was going to sing again, but I won't. The lovers, head over heart decision. Heart of Gemini. Look at that. The Ace of Swords below it. And look at the beautiful vines climbing up it. Ace of Swords is my yes card. And I feel like if anyone is asking the question right now, is this my soulmate? The answer is yes. Queen of Cups underneath that. I feel like what that's saying is just be ready. That's all. And when I say be ready, like, I don't want to put worry in your mind at all, because I feel like this is the type of energy that just naturally finds you. Again, that Three of Wands, you're saying to the universe, I know my blessings will come in their due time, in their divine time. And that's exactly what the Seven of Pentacles is saying. Wow, Sagittarius. You know, it's funny. I wanted to have your reading done by your birthday, um, by Sagittarius, by the 23rd, the season. And, um, I try not to put them out right away. You know what I mean? Like, I want to wait. But this type of reading, I can't help but put it out. Like, I want to put it out right now. So we'll see. We'll see what I end up doing. All right. Oh, couple flipped around there. All right. So we have the King of Wands. Um, my mind just went blank. Sagittarius, Aries, Leo. But it doesn't have to be any of that. Hello, Ace of Wands. Passion ignited over the Two of Wands. Like it literally is the signs that are being sent to you. You know what I feel like this is also saying? Is your heart chakra is going to be activated before this soulmate, before you two come together. Because yes, they're coming to your life, but you're also coming into their life. And this means go. It's go time. Right over the Two of Wands, connected to the star. Seven of Swords. Interesting, two sevens. Seven of Swords over the Seven of Pentacles. And then the Page of Pentacles over the Three of Wands. Okay. So I know what this is saying. So the Seven of Swords is untrustworthy energy. It's my ex-husband. You know what I mean? It's that type of energy. But the Page of Pentacles right next to it tells me that you learned a lot from this. And sometimes it's very simple. Sometimes it's what I don't want, right? Like, I must have honesty. I must have truth, or I can't be with you. I feel like that's a boundary, right? Like, if I can't trust you, then I don't want to be with you. And I feel like you're that clear. But listen, This is not about who's coming in because this is saying this is what you have learned. You've learned from the Seven of Swords. That's what we forget often is like these experiences that we've gone through. They're all teaching us something because we want to remember that our soul came into this lifetime to learn, to expand, to evolve. And that only happens through experiences. And, our soul doesn't, I don't feel like our soul, well, I guess it depends on like what life challenges or what your soul wanted to complete in this lifetime. And I know some would be like, well, why would my soul want to deal with untrustworthy energy? Well, sometimes it's karmic. You, in a past life, may have been that Seven of Swords, and now you have to experience it. That's karma. And it works both ways, good and hard. By the way, I also love the page of Pentacles coming over the Three of Wands because I feel like for some of you, this is about taking a new path as it relates to your money, your creativity. It's taken what you have learned up until this point and creating from it. For many, and I know many of you here are healers. You may not know that. And I do feel like healers have to go through some difficult experiences to really become that ultimate healer. If I'm going to go to someone for help, I want them to understand, I want them to understand my plight. And the best way for someone to truly understand what you're going through is someone who's been there themselves. I feel like I just took a different turn there for some reason. I also want to say I kind of love this next to justice. So some of you may be interested in the law. You may be interested in fairness. Like you may do something for a living where, you're creating balance for others. A lot of people say, what is my soul's purpose? That's our soul's purpose, to take what we have learned and to help others, small or large. It doesn't matter. All right, let's keep going. It's funny. I almost didn't do your reading today um, because I was doing the personal year numbers and I thought, well, I should call it a day. And something just like, no, you got to do Sagittarius as a reading. And I was arguing with myself. I was like, well, kind of early. Said, nope, you got to do it. So here I am. Six of Swords. Beautiful. And I'll tell you why I think this is beautiful. First of all, it's coming over the reversal of the Nine of Swords. That's why it's in reverse. Because this is you having true realization of what and who has been toxic in your life. What has held you back, held you down, stopped you from living your dreams. It was toxic. And it makes sense with the Three of Swords and the Tower. But this is you moving on. This is you, number one, having that realization and moving on from it. It can temporarily be difficult. And it's mainly for those who have a hard time with change. I feel like there's some of you have a life or a personal year 6. What a year it's going to be. That makes sense. I know not all of you are going to have a personal year 6, but love was the name of the game for that. But anyway, so this is perfect. This is you moving on. This is you not taking the baggage along. It is healing as you continue to move forward. Look at this. First of all, 2 nights. They're both coming in. This one's coming in. This one's coming in. This night, it's an unexpected cup of fulfillment. But is it really unexpected? I feel like your soul knew it was coming. I feel like your spirit guides activated that heart chakra to get you ready. It's that feeling that something is about to happen. I don't know what, but I know it feels good. Because this is unexpected, as usually love is, it means you don't have to worry. Like, you don't have to seek love. Love will find you right where you're at. Wow. 4 of Cups. Discontentment, boredom in one's emotional world. But yet, here comes a cup. Here comes a cup. And it's interesting because it's falling. I knew I was going to mess all the cards up. It's falling over the 9 of Cups, which can talk about singular energy. I mean, it would make sense, that you'd be single, or some of you may be leaving a relationship. Like, you just know it's done. So here you are. Again, I'm not going to say everything's perfect, but it's good enough. And then here comes that cup. And we already know that cup. Well, number one, here's the Knight of Cups. What does this knight bring? A cup. What is coming in from the hand of divine? A cup. The message of this card is to use your spiritual discernment, your intuition. This isn't just any old cup. The Chariot, she's over the 10 of Cups. And then the Knight of Wands over the 2 of Cups, with the Knight of Wands right there. You want to talk about passion. I always say, like, it's sometimes better to take it slow, especially if you've dealt with, like, the 3 of Swords, the Tower, toxicity, liars. But the difference, I feel, is your evolution, your growth, your vibration lifting. And therefore, everything that comes in, again, is of that vibration. And if it's not, I am telling you, the alarm bells will go off. But I don't even want to put that worry in your mind. Because next comes the Chariot, right over the Ten of Cups. First of all, it is a card of Cancer. But let's talk about the Chariot for a second. It is the balance of the feminine and the masculine, the light and the dark. It is what justice gives you when you use that sword, balance. And then it is unlimited potential. These lovers, well, they're going to love for the rest of their lives, unless I don't even want to put a negative tone here because I don't see anything to worry about. It almost looks too good to be true, right? But the reason why I know it's true is because I know many of you. I know you have evolved. I know you're letting go of the old, which means you're welcoming the new. And that's really what you want to do. Welcome the new. You don't have to accept it. You can say no to that cup. I hope you don't, but you can. But if you don't say no, you say yes. Baby, I feel like this love just takes off. It just takes off. So going slow, I don't think there's any way to go slow here. And that's probably why we've gone from the 9, singular, directly into the Ten of Cups. It's like love at first sight. The way this reading is reading, I wouldn't be surprised if some of you have had like um dreams where you may have been dreaming about like a person. This person may have been faceless, like I see the person but I can never see their face. I had a few dreams about Sam before him and I reconnected, and I could not see his face in those dreams, but I knew it was him. All right. This also tells me with the Knight of Wands over the Two of Cups and beside the Two of Cups, that both of you are going to feel the same way. And is this someone new that you haven't met yet? I won't, I don't want to commit to that because for some of you, old love can come back. That is my life, but not this love. Not what, I mean, I shouldn't say that. I guess if whoever broke your heart, ah, like, I don't want to say take him back because the Seven of Swords, the state that they left you in. So if anyone's coming back, that's the one I would say no to, unless they have evolved. Everyone has the same chance to evolve in life. We either accept it or we don't. I didn't even know we had all these cards sitting here. 8 of Wands. What I think about, I bring about. It's also fast moving energy. That's exactly what I'm feeling here. Also, number 8, as above, so below. Boy, Sagittarius, I feel like this love has been planned for eternity. I just feel that. 8 is also about a new beginning. So I'm hoping you allow yourself to have this new beginning. Then we have the Hangman. Slow down, you move too fast. And then the Page of Cups. Okay, well, the Page of Cups under the Four of Cups. That kind of makes sense. You may ask, this is what I feel is like how it's going to happen. Number one, I feel like you'll just be at the right place at the right time, and so will they. You'll both be guided. You know what I mean? Like some way, somehow, you're going to be guided to come across each other. And then I feel like it's going to be love at first sight. And I get this sense that even though I may want to move it quickly, you may try to slow it down, which is your right. And often what I tell you to do. The hangman isn't just like hanging around for no reason. The hangman is seeking spiritual wisdom to use on this earthly plane, like help guide my next steps. And I get it because it's also coming under the tower. I don't want to repeat that. Your guides would say, if you learned that lesson, you won't repeat it. Trust yourself. Trust your energy. Trust your intuition. Page of Cups. I feel like this is part of the journey many of you have been on, the healing of that inner child. When I'm telling you it's time to be playful, I have a feeling maybe just a few months ago, that would have been impossible. But now, I just feel like everything is changing. It feels like everything is changing, but it feels like it's changing just as it was meant to. By the way, the Four of Cups, that cup is coming in from the hand of divine. If you look at the page is holding that cup. This cup may bring out that inner child within you. I hope it does. I hope it brings out the playfulness within you. Three of Swords. Okay, well, that Three of Swords is mirroring the Seven of Swords, the Nine of Cups. Okay, I get it now. I feel like what this is saying is, and it makes sense, the person, I keep saying this, coming into your life, but you're coming into each other's lives. I feel like they have been through something so similar as you. I don't feel like this Three of Swords has anything to do with your future. I feel like it's tied to that Seven of Swords, what was. But I feel like they also had gone through something like that. They may have, like gotten a divorce or cut ties with someone, or someone cut ties on them. But then again, really did them a favor. The Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles is that fine art of give and take. Interesting, it's mirroring as another six. Six, many times, is about love. Six of Pentacles can say, or probably is saying here, oftentimes One of the things that we have to learn in love, it's not giving. I feel like giving love is easy for you. It's receiving it, like truly receiving it. And it may be, I feel like what it's saying is because of what you've been through, it's harder to allow yourself to like truly receive it. Now, this is an energy of compassion and empathy. And I definitely feel like you both will have that for each other. It's like I said earlier, um, like if I was going to someone for help, I would want someone who, it's not that I want them to have had bad experiences, but I want them to understand, right? I want them to understand my plight. Well, now I feel like what this is saying is these soulmates are going to understand each other so well because of similar life paths. Doesn't mean everything is exactly the same, but I do feel that either two people are coming or becoming single at around the same time, or someone hears that you're single and they say, well, that's my chance. That's my opportunity. And it may be both ways. And what I mean by that for some of you, because you have to think of social media also. At least I do when I'm doing a reading. Because I know a lot of people, I know a lot of my own friends have, like, after they gotten divorced, they had like married on the front of Facebook, let's say. And then as soon as that's over, they put single, like single. Um, and I know many of them had like certain people in mind that they had hoped would see that. And I have to say, some of them did. And that's why I know this energy. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few of you like putting single on your status and somebody else is like, but that is my opportunity. You know, what has all the hardship taught you? Compassion and empathy. Not for those who have hurt you. That's where you want to try to forgive, but that's just so you don't have to carry the weight of it. And I don't feel that you are. I really feel you feel like light as a feather. But it didn't come easy. I know that. All right. Something makes me want to look. Okay. Something made me want to look at the bottom of this deck, which I very seldom do. Here and there I'll do that. But hello, Four of Swords. Hello, healing. Goodbye, Three of Swords. Like, it's just not having an effect on you anymore. And that one sword, this is the sword that I feel like we lie upon. That's our own truth. That's like the Ace of Swords we saw, right? We have to know even ourselves in love in all areas. This is our own truth. Sometimes I just simply stayed at the party too long. You know what I mean? But the way this reading is going, I feel like, again, I don't want to say someone's coming into your life because I feel like your guides want me to make it clear you're coming into each other's lives. And there will be a head over heart decision. And I do feel like the majority of you are going to follow your heart. And that's a good thing. That's what I'm hoping. Because listen, it all started with your wishes, your dreams, but about manifesting them, making them real. You know, I talk to my guides all the time. And I said to my guides just the other day, I said, when I do readings, I worry that I talk about love too much. And what I heard back is it's not that you're talking about love too much. What you're doing is you're giving them or showing them the bridge that connects them to the new from the old. And I thought, well, that's true. A lot of times, like, I could do a reading in 10 minutes, but I wouldn't be giving you the value that you need. And I'm not cutting anyone down if they do short readings. It's just not the way I read. And that could be the Virgo in me. But I feel like my guides want me to go into detail, to show you how to get from here to here. All right, let's bring in the clarifying love situations. If any reading calls for it, this one does. I love the High Priestess next to the star because that is definitely your guides sending you signs through your intuition. You may just be sitting in the house one day watching TV or something, and you may say, "You know what? I feel like I want to go get a milkshake or something." So you do. And then lo and behold, there's someone standing in line and you strike up a conversation. And then that's that. Because again, I do feel love at first sight. Doesn't mean I won't be afraid, but that's the normal fear. That's the butterflies. All right. We got three. Oh, all right. So we have fogs bind. When paths are unclear and spirits froze, sometimes leaving brings light. When paths are unclear and spirits froze, sometimes leaving brings light. Six of Swords. Lightning strikes. Dismantle outdated ways of being to get a fresh start. Dismantle outdated ways of being to get a fresh start. I don't know why I always read them twice. And then we have, oh my God, of course, divine union. Use the wings of empathy. And even Mother Mary. Well, close enough. Compassion, mercy, compassion, love, inner child, and boundaries. Anyway, divine union. Use the wings of empathy to bring love and harmony. Well, that's what the Ten of Cups is, love and harmony. Wow. Okay. Last but not least, let's bring in the romance angels. And it would make sense that this year be such a blessing, or this month be such a blessing, because it carries the energy of three, which is joy and celebration. I actually did a podcast on that. Um, I haven't released it yet. I'm always torn. I did start a new channel. I haven't put anything on it yet. But my thought was I was going to put all my podcasts on that channel because I know not everyone on this channel really appreciates the podcast, and I get it. Um, So I keep going back and forth. But then I do the podcast and I think, I want you to hear it. So I'm torn. And I hope I get clarity soon. Because I love doing the podcast. I just do. Hello, wedding. This situation involves marriage. Of course it does. Of course it does. Now, don't get hung up on the word marriage, though. Or wedding. Let's just say commitment, true love, commitment. And I'm not going to say you're not getting married. It's just that I know not everyone wants to get married, but that is true love, commitment. For some of you, someone's going to get down on their knees, or it's going to be you. Honeymoon. Enjoy the bliss, oh my gosh, of holiday time together. Hello. We're in holiday time right now. It's interesting. We have wedding and then we get honeymoon. But I feel like what this is saying is to enjoy every moment of it. It's interesting because I'm noticing this person like in a boat, kind of like that Six of Swords energy. Let me show you side by side. You can see they're in a boat. Usually in the Six of Swords, you'll see someone sitting there and someone else, I don't know, not rowing it like a gondola. I don't know if they would say rowing it or not, but that's what they're doing here. So for some of you, you may meet someone across waters, across lands, and that may be part of social media. Like, I don't know why all of a sudden I feel like I want to go all Italian, like I live in Italy, but I'm coming to the US, or that's just what I feel. Enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. Sagittarius, that tells me that this is not far off. I would say the biggest thing here, well, I mean, love is the biggest thing, but I think the biggest or the most important advice I could give you is not allowing people who just aren't trustworthy anyway. Don't allow them to take up any space in your life anymore. Reclaim your life. And when you do that, I'm telling you, it's like the universe is just waiting, watching, like when she's ready, when he's ready, we're ready. We're going to activate that heart chakra. We're going to ignite your intuition. And chances are you're going to follow it. Now, when we look at that sword of justice, boy, does it make me want to use it now. Because look at what's coming in. This is one of the most beautiful readings I've done relating to love. It's just so clear. And for many of you, listen, you worked hard to get yourself to this point. You had to overcome. You had to heal that inner child. And yes, I do feel like you have to take a chance here, like the Two of Wands, but it's merely just stepping on the path. I feel like the rest will just follow. The rest will just follow. And I'm going to let that be. Wow. You know, I feel like this is the love of your lifetime. I feel like this will be the love of your lifetime and probably other lifetimes also. I often picture like, and my guides put this in my mind, like souls before they came into this lifetime, pre-planting this love, knowing that we're going to be born with amnesia. So it's almost like the soul's excitement of, will we find each other again? Well, you do, with your guide's help. Amen to that. And I'm going to let that be. I love you. I thank you. I cannot wait to read your comments. I know some of you are still back here, but I hope you can see by just clearing old energy, it opens the door to your beautiful new beginning. I love you. I thank you. I'll see you next year. No. Well, I will see you next year, but I'm sure I'll see you before then. Um, wow. All right. I love you. Bye bye. It's like I don't want to end your reading, but I have to.